Hello everyone, my name is Suman from Uplatz. So the topics we are in the previous sessions we discussed about in the similar way data frames. Let's go further and let's try to understand. We'll take some kind of real-time data and we'll make sure to understand what are the common required data frame operations we need in a regular way. So that is the hope, the outline of the sessions today. So here I have taken some kind of data. Here we can see some information like players information is there. The player ID is there, like you know it very clearly, player name and the team and the matches and the runs average. So this is a very simple example, you can easily understand. But what for this data, what we do it to understand? I mean, what is the main concept we just to make sure to provide it. So first thing is like which I explained earlier in every sessions we have to set the environment. So and before so we have to understand and prepare the Spark environment, the PySpark environment. Then after so we have to understand the data frame by loading that CSV file. So currently in this data which is stored as a CSV file, then what we'll do it here, we'll move further and try to understand the data frame structure and also what are the basic needed operations we should have so that we can understand these data frames and how to the way of accessing the data and it can also you can say in the meanwhile it just cover like a column based accessing using some kind of attributes and index notations also there. Index notations. Sometimes we can also use some kind of aggregations methods. So that is also functions kind of thing. We can use it. Okay, these are the things we should understand. But what are the kind of transformations we can do it? Okay, if you typically take any data sets in general, so it should be contains various transformations that we can apply on top of the any kind of data frame. Okay, but we should have some kind of quantities like some kind of calculations to make sure to approximate some quantities. Okay, so that is also we can do it like mainly partitioning and kind of things we just move ahead. So then after we will make sure to understand how to write the data. Of course, we are doing modifications and we're doing some kind of actions. But how to write the data into external source or maybe export or something like that. So write results or whatever the content results to the external or some output file. Okay. So that is also things we just move ahead and meanwhile we just move ahead with the missing values because that's our regularly used concepts. So missing values and some kind of removal techniques and imputations and some kind of advanced also imputations we will look at. So that we'll look at in the further and we'll make sure to understand especially missing values and handling missing values. So this is the core context I just want to explain. Okay. So for that, what I will just to do it first in the first cases, I have to load the data into my session, right? So this is I just open my session here. You can see these sessions. So first, we'll just what we'll do it here, like I explained in the material. So first you have to initialize, right? So from PySpark.sql import a Spark session. So I just type it here. So from PySpark this value dot you can see this is the method which contains. So when you type it automatically, I mean, I'm coming from its batch. Anyhow, I explain from SQL, right? So this is the function. So from PySpark import, but here we have like capital letters we have to write. This is one thing. Then after you have to create a Spark session. So that's also we just to make sure to understand. This is we can say simply a simple way like import necessary packages. First thing, and in the second cases, I have to create Spark session, right? So create Spark session. I think font will be maybe might issues. Okay, I hope. Now create a Spark session. So for this, I'm giving a name called Spark equal to in a simple way. I just want to give it a Spark equal to, and I just want to provide this Spark session here. Spark session. Spark session contains a builder, which we know it. Builder that app name is there. No? So that app name. So that app name you can give it anything, but in this cases I'm giving some names like not demo. Just make sure to provide this is operations, or we can say um, play data, play operations, or something like playing related, giving some playing operations, playing DF operations. That's it. Just copy it here, make it here, and then after get or create, so it will get or create the session. I just close it here. Then, and after this, we have to load the data, right? So for this, load the CSV file into our data frame. So the next option is load CSV data as data frame. Now for this, the same I can take any object name, the simple way, df equal to, and here I have to write my Spark's object name, and this Spark contains a read, so which are there, and that contains CSV one certain file. So because of CSV, so I just want to take it my data frame here. So when I just go to my folders and I just type it here, whether players are there or not. So it's there. So just check it before. So here I am just giving players.csv a simple way. But this contains already header is there. I want to take it here header equal to something like you can mention true. The first thing. Second thing is info schema equals also same way. The schema is equal to also you can make it a true. So, true. I just load it. I just want to look at the data. So df.flow is a method which we know it. So just for looking the data, loaded data or loaded data as df we can see. Okay. So let me minimize here. I just want to run it this session. I mean this cell. I think notebook will be fine because of notebook. I mean, notebook in the sense like cells. Okay. Now we got it in a simple way. Like, but data frame we got it right. So that's important. Data frame we got it. So this data frame contains very simple information like players information, IDs are there, their names are there, and their teams. And I just give it a teams and their matches, how many matches, and how much runs they got it, and what is the average they need it. They're very simple, right? So you can take typically any data, any play, any game. So I'm just giving some sample game. but you can take cricket or maybe football or maybe something like that, similar, whatever you are, mostly having the familiarity. Now here, if you look at here, uh, we want to access particular column as an attribute. Okay. So here, the next question is accessing column as attribute. So for that, we have to give it at the name of the column. So I just give it here some title way, either way, like this is first give it SQL operations. We can say go further. Okay, this title will be better. Now I just want to give it, this is also markdown. Just convert it. Now for accessing any attributes, so what are the things? So I'm just giving simply runs columns underscore. I just want to give it here equal to, and whatever df is there, our df dot. So once you dot, just press on tab, okay, and just type it or view. But if you look at here, we didn't get it right. So the runs are there, but let's try it here. Runs I'm just typing, and then after I just want to print out what is the runs columns. Right? Let me run it. Now we got data from object has no attribute or trends, right? Now typically div.show we got it right. We clearly mentioned. Okay. Dot notation, it might be index notation is also there. Let's try it here. Sometimes. Okay. Following player ID. Okay. So the mistake we have done, I'll just explain here. Or I'll just open myself otherwise. Or here only I can explain. So if you look at here, the error is clearly indicate what indicates. If you typically see, of course, this is also helps you a lot. Here we can see space is there. Before R, there is one space. Before M, there is space. And before, and the same way. I'll just copy it here. Just can copy it. And I just want to paste it here. Okay, I'll just paste it here. Now you can see we got it, right? Just column name. Okay. So its contents typically some kind of only column names are there. But the problem is column names has some kind of space. Okay. So whenever is space, like, we have to understand whenever is spaces. So in that cases, definitely we have to make sure to provide it to, square bracket notation. Okay. Let me copy it, Annie. I just done it here. And let's just provide again this value. Let's type it again. It will give us an error, right? So this is the error actually. So these values which generally contains this kind of information. Okay. So this is also typically utilized in the case of data when we are taking. So this is also utilized. So that's up to us to how to eradicate or how to while loading. How can I mean just I'm going with how can we change a particular name and just time. So if particular name for existed column type, existed columns in the data frame. So in the data frame or in the in PySpark SQL or something like SQL data frame. Either way we can consider. So that is one options. Let's say one thing is first we have to look at in a proper format. But if you want to change it, how to do it? Okay. So here, what we'll do it here, I just want to make sure to provide it um, leading spaces, right? To take maybe to take remove or to remove something like to remove some leading spaces in this particular data frames. So what we'll do it here for example, let's try to understand. First, this is the error we understood. I mean, like whatever we expected, we didn't get it. But can we able to modify or can we able to do it in that way? So for that, what we'll do it here is just to remove any leading or training spaces. So we have to give it with column rename. Okay. So one is called with column name. So, but can I give it bulk? So can we give it bulk? This is also we know it with column renamed is one option. But let's make it. I think we can provide in the way of group it. When group it is already we know it clearly. But can we make it in that way? So bulk rename using loops is better, I think. So first we have to take df dot columns. So I think strip is better. Okay. So let me make it in that way. Of course, this is one error. So here what I want to do it here before error. Okay. I just want to make it simply columns. Sorry, columns. Columns is equal to, let's take it the df dot columns. This I am taking. And we have to use with, this is for list out all columns. Okay, just trying it here. This is for a list of all columns. All the columns, right? So having either leading or trailing spaces, something like this. So I'm just listing out. Now after this, we have to use. I think we have to use uh, the function called with. I think with column and renamed. I think rename. It's renamed. So this is the method we have to use it. But this will take what is the existed column, like we can say old column versus new, or we can say old name versus new name. So that is the approach we have to use. But since it is a loop now, so we have to go each value, right? So for that, what I want to do it, we just using our existing skill like for loop. like which I explained early in the pandas cases. So for call, I'm using for call in what are these columns? For call in columns, I put a colon head of the end of the header, and I just want to create df. Maybe df is equal to and df dot. I have to use with the name column rename. The column renamed, and here I want to give it whatever existed column which we are capturing. Then after call is there since it's a string, so we have to take it call dot string. So that not only leading or trailing, all the spaces will be removed. Maybe some data, some columns contains even trailing spaces after end. So that's also we have to better to remove, right? Leading is nothing but early spaces, like one or two before name. Trailing spaces sometimes after end of the name also we will get it. And just omitting, I mean, just renewing. So the old name we are giving and existing name we are giving, right? And after this, now the columns names will be having leading spaces or something we have to look at df dot, and I have to use it my print schema. Print, print, I'm just typing. To check whether that updated value. Before also we will look at print schema. It's better. First we look at from the before cell. I can see player ID is fine. It's perfectly started here. Now, if you observe here, I think a marker, I'll just make sure to provide it. Now you can see it's giving into some kind of information, right? So this is the value. Now after this, I just want to execute here with along with the df. Now you can see we can observe the difference. I'll just minimize here. Now if you observe here the straight line, you can see there is a space, right? But here in the next spaces, we don't have any space. Of course, this is different. This space is different. But we can say early leading spaces is omitted, right? Now, so once you run it in the same way early, right? The DF I have taken, okay, that's good. And I just type it capital R. That's right. Now we can see we got it. Early we didn't get it, but right now we got it, right? So this also fine. This also fine, right? So just I will just mention it here. Otherwise, I'll just make it one title. Okay. Just want to give it some since column contents, column names contains leading spaces or trailing spaces. So here we are removing for better access. Okay. I just give it here. Okay. So I hope you understand these things. I just want to zoom it. Just want to zoom it. This is one thing. Right? So I'm just looking only one column name, but if you look at here, which I mentioned in my notebook, I mean, that is one thing which we can make sure to provide it as a dot notation or a sphere bucket notation, either way. So we'll just provide here sphere bucket notation and the dot notation. I think I hope to explain. It's not needed. So we're just looking only one column name. That's only. Okay, column name and just we are printing. But other cases, if you look at here, this person, what he is doing, like the same, I mean, in this notebook, what we are doing here, from SQL, we are importing a function called f. Okay. Functions are nothing but f, not like function called s, f. So this is just for alias, like a shortcut. So from PySpark SQL, I'm just importing functions as just a broader name like alias name as f. Now after this, I'm taking the df, whatever data frame which I have, and going with the aggregated function. And what I want to do it here, sum of runs, I'm just want to make it. Okay. All the runs. Maybe if you look at here df, so if you look at my notebook, you just look at here. It's clearly gives us people information like here. I think we loaded right. So the data. Okay. So runs are there. 785 run is there, 1200 is there, and 1500 some person, and 950 another person. Now the question comes to here is, can you add it, every value and provide it the total summation? Okay. In the similar way, total runs is okay. And a similar way, I just want to make sure to provide average. Okay. Average of averages. That is nothing but, we are looking into some one functions, or I mean, summation of one function, but average of averages. That is also the, because what is we are looking as a team. As a team is different. Like, a person want to look at total runs, one aspect. Second aspect is what is my team average. But because if you want to compare with this team with other team, other country, okay. So in that cases, average alone is different. Average across total is different. For example, Indian cricket team is playing some cricket with some South Africa or Australia or some other countries. Okay. Now, just let's make sure to maybe it might be something like World Cup or maybe IPL match or maybe certain cup, okay, Asia Cup or something. Any tourney you can take. But what is the mixed option? I mean, I just want to compare one person, I mean, one team with other team. So the best is the average, okay. So that across team, we are looking single number and we are comparing that number with other number with other team. Okay? So for that, just to make sure to provide it here, I just want to give it some column names here, like aggregated function, average. Let's say average. Give it here. Value, okay. Average aggregated data, you can say. Or you can give it this first. And make it to mock. Now, first thing, I have to go to from PySpark.sql, which I explained earlier, and we have to import functions as capital A, something like this. So here, I just want to aggregate to get total runs and average across players, right? So this is what I have to understand. I just want to create here. So here, so I will not just copy paste. At least comment, you can copy paste it, but in my cases, I'm just typing for you how to practice in the way. And here, aggregation df, I'm taking an object, right? This is what paste. Or I'll just want to explain here from here to here. Now, DF is our original data frame, which contains which loaded, and for that I'm giving aggregation function, and on top of it I'm just typing function f summation on top of what runs. Okay, and I'm giving some alias name because this is not just we can't say individual runs or maybe some runs. Total runs makes somewhat better. I mean meaningful. Then after, I just want to take it in the place of sum, I'm taking average. But in these cases, I'm giving average. Okay. And this also I'm giving alias name of some average score. And later on, I just want to show that data frame which transformed or which not transformed, which aggregated. Okay. Yes. Now we got it here, we can see. The total runs as a 4435, well, we got it. And if you look at here, so these are total. So almost to 2000 and 2700 and 3400 like this, 4000 G almost. So there is no mistake, but we have to understand at least, what things are going on. Okay. And this one thing, in the similar way, this is also going with the average. So if you want to further calculate this best option is like 42. Okay, you are taking here also, you can type it. I mean, in the initial cases, I'm telling 46 plus, okay, we are getting, and this is in other cases. Then after I have to take this value, and I just want to take this value. These are total. Just make it total by 4, right? I think 4. 43.275, right? So that is the value we got it here because this average we are looking, not just like summation. Later on, just make sure to provide it here. I'll just cut it here and you can paste it here to know it, to understand manually. So this is what we did. We just what to doing with the simply summation of total runs, and we are also finding the content which we are looking for. Now alias, which I give it, alias is for create an alias to for the data frame. Okay, so that's already I mean just you hope you show to in the code only you got it to understand, no issues. But in the other cases, we can see df alias, we are writing df alias and player status stats. Okay. So whatever the values which you are going with, something like, providing, if you want to provide an alias for the entire data frame. Okay. So you can make it in that way. So df dot and just give it alias and player starts so that df alias dot show also you can do it. Okay. So that is also there. But if you look at here df, so let me go forward, go backward here. So df dot show, right? Want to show it any value. So the df is there, but if you want to store this value, aggregate it. So that is the make sure to provide like this. The same concept. I just want to give it here in this way. Okay, let's make it here. And here, whatever early we created aggregated, let's make it here aggregated. Right? Now we can see. Now we do have two variables are there. So if I want to make sure to provide dir, you can see aggregated df is also there. df underscore alias is also there, right? So if you want to look at the any methods in the working directory, so the dir helps us. Okay, so that is the option you can able to. And there is something also here is there, but I'm not going in that way. This is what you have to understand. So next option is, approximate quantile. So what is this value? Let's calculate approximate quantity quantiles. Okay, means what? For example, you have runs, but if you want to provide that runs into 25% and 5%, something like that, and 75%, and in that way. So what we have to look at, like, that same data we are looking, but I want to look at in a quantile wise. Quantile is nothing but 100% we are taking, and 25% is when we take it, that is called just quantile. Okay. So in that cases, definitely you will get it here. So here we can see again, just to type it here, df dot show. So show. I just want to give it df dot show. Every time you can look at. So here we can see 785, right? Post runs. And 785, okay, we got it. And 1200. So 1200 and 1200 in 950. But this is what, just three columns, right? Because you are taking the data and we can make sure to understand only this percentile wise. So just make sure to provide, otherwise anyhow df is there now, just type it here and make sure to provide here shift tab. So approximate quantile, right? So it will calculate is the approximate quantiles of numerical columns, approximate quantiles. So the result of this algorithm has the following deterministic bound. You can see this here. So data frame such as n elements, and if you request the quantile at some probability p up to some error, so the algorithm will return a sample x. So from that class, so you can see that they are giving in the similar way. So like you can see, I think some examples also they provide, but I think here we can see. Let me write it. Now we can see we got it these values. Okay. So this values, going with find out that values in the total, and it's giving into quantiles. Okay. So the values also it's making into quantiles. So let's move further, and I mean statistically you have to look forward, and we have to understand that then after cache the data frame in memory. Okay. So checkpoints also there, like which I explained coal escape. This is also escape. I mean if you want to or reduce the number of partitions. I think this also I explained. And similar way, collect the data into some list. If you want to collect the data into list also, you can do it. So here I just want to provide here a simple for loop. And for this, I'm just making the data, but in a separate we are looking, right? Like player ID, which contains one. Player name or person name is John Doe. I think here is also space is there. Okay, let's make it. And team. And similar way we do have matches and all those things, but we are guys a separate right? Okay, somewhat. And this one and more common operations, if you want to look at count is nothing but what? Count number of rows. This is different. Like across total df, I'm giving count. Now it will look it forward the total df, and it will find out how many rows are there, and it will store it here. And I just print that values into your, output. So now we'll get it. So like this. Now total number of rows, we got it 4, right? So I just want to give it here comment. So for make sure to understand. To get total number of rows, so we have to use the method of data frame or DM. This is also similar. Okay, filter I already explained, but I just want to copy paste here. A person is going with filter, but you want to look at greater than 1000. I think only 2%, right? So just write it. You can see 2% contents greater than 1000, 1200 and 1500. I mean, second ID person and third one page. So that's way we can filter it if you want to filter it. Now we got it here, and group by and aggregations, right? So if you want to make it even a similar way, group by, okay, group by team and aggregation summation. I think let me run it first because this sometimes works on my notebook and there are two aspects are there. We got it. So here we are grouping the group by team. Actually, if you look at here, the df.show, let's make it here df.show. Now you can see there is the royalties there. So royalties again repeatedly comes second time royals, right? Okay. So what we are doing? We are grouping the team and we are calculating summation of runs and we are giving total runs, right? So for royals 25 is there, 30 is there. So 25, 30 and we got it here. And total runs we can see here 1735. No, not total runs. This value, sorry. 985 and 785. Sorry, 950 and 785. Okay. So that is the value, obviously 9, 16 and 16, 17, 35. Okay. So we got it here. So that is up to, find out, I mean, the way we want to do it. But here we are grouping. But in real cases, maybe like I explained, not only just one team or four teams. In these cases, I'm just giving sample data to make sure to understand very limited. But if you typically take any World Cup data or something like, very measurement of a lot of teams. So in that in that cases, in that analogy, in that illustration, so real life, definitely this should be helpful for you. I mean, for the team, for the company. Okay. So that is make sure to provide it. Just make sure to this top. I mean, here you can make it bottom. So this is nothing but grouping. So grouping. Okay, getting aggregated values after grouping. Similar with same name, same teams. That's better. Same teams, right? So this is one aspect, and we are getting into, and we can see. So this similar way, order by which I explained. This is very simple. So if you understand group by, you can easily understand. So runs I'm going and descending. Anyhow, we omitted this space, right? So otherwise, you will get an error. So now we got it here. So runs I'm going, but a person who is in third person, that is the person in general which contains less than score or greater than score, because we are going with the descending order. So here sorting from higher to lower of what lower runs in the team or from the teams, not only the single team. In the teams is better because each person, each is a separate team. So from the teams, we can make sure to provide it a better name from the name. So here descending, I'm just going with because highest runs in general we were looking. So highest runs which got Mike Tyson, I think Sharks team. So he's contains, he's having the highest runs across total. Now, this is also utilized when you have large set of data, large players, or something like larger team. So in that case, it definitely it will be utilized. Okay. Not only this thing. In a similar example, I want to explain. Like if you take it any like human population, also you can take the population you are looking forward, but across globe you are looking, and across globe you are looking, but you want to look at some age. Okay. So population you are looking, but across total globe you are looking, and descending you are looking. Now finally, what you will get it here? Who is the maximum age is across globe? And if you have it, I mean, if we have it, maybe 100 plus somebody is there, 120 or somebody is there. So at most, I think. So, but he will get not only he will get age. I mean, only role. He will get his maybe his information like profile information, right? Maybe his location, his name, and maybe which country, which located, something like that. So whatever which contains, I mean, I'm just giving some illustration. So like that, you can try it. Now this is fine, but I want to load this data. For example, if you want to load any data, so what we have to do it, or write concept. Okay. So write.csv and you just provide it here. Okay. For example, in our data, we got it, aggregated data, right? Aggregated data we got. So what I want to do it here, I just want to copy here, writing data. Here we're only looking order only, right? I want to do it here, writing data. I want to give it here. Okay. For this, what I want to do it here, whatever early data is there, I just want to take this df. Mm, Aggregated df, right? Or you can take alias. This is also df. Yes, that's. I want to create here, and maybe I just want to take it here. Layers starts. I just want to give. Okay, somewhat better, right? So I just want to execute and just want to look at here the data, my working directory. So, what happened here? It's not df. Df dot okay, write dot csv. Let's write it right again. Something where maybe mistake. Okay. Mode override. Let's try it either way. Yes. It's writing. We'll do it the other way. Okay, multiple parts. Some name will be stored. The same way we are looking, but we're just trying with how to do it. Some single external file if you want to do it. So we have to use coalesce. That is also we can do it. Reduce the number of partition. I mean, this is going on the partition way. Okay. So partition way, and I just make sure to provide it. So for this, what I want to do it here, let me try it here. For example, df alias, right? Because it's a distributing. Let me write it here, df. I think is a one partition. I just want to give it dot right dot csv. Uh, Example. Both already exist. We can write it here, otherwise. Spark data frame, right, as CSV. And this is also better, I think. One mistake only, not issues. Conversion is there. Delimiter, we have to use it. Overwrite if the file is also there. So let's make it in as this for us. This is very simple. But in our cases, it's not DF, it's not DF. DF of alias. So frame works something like okay. Delimiter here being is this value. Let's write it here. Still we are producing an error, right? Format.csv, okay. Format we have to give it. Certain cases we can use it. I mean, depends on the values we want to look at. Okay, data is not visible, right? Let's write it. Want to close it here. Okay, header, fine, option delimiter. Let's give it a comma, otherwise already comma is there. Okay, something we are getting into. So we look at, so this is the total I just want to explain. So only we are making mistakes while writing, only writing to the external file. But the things are we are working with rest of the topics early. All these aggregations and filtering and like looking some kind of columns and SQL data frames operations. That's a goal of this entire session. So first understand, load the data, first understand the data and then move ahead with some modifications. Maybe what are the data frame if you want to make sure to provide it. Then after you just move forward and make sure to understand the certain context and edit and change it accordingly the data which we needed, which the problem statement says. Then after final result, which we can provide as a some kind of output. Okay, so that output will be based on the format you want to provide it. So let's look at even that also we can able to solve it and we can make sure to figure out. Okay. So thank you very much and thanks for watching all these sessions. And in the next session, we'll meet up or we'll discuss and we'll think about move further and we'll further make sure to understand some kind of operations. And then after we'll just enter into machine learning concept. Okay, so that's a part. So thank you very much and thanks for watching all these sessions. And in the next session, we'll make sure to move ahead with some other concepts. Thank you.